Hey guys, I'm glad you're here because it's time for science. Today we're going to be talking about force. Specifically, the force and energy behind something being pushed or pulled in order to get it in motion. After reviewing some vocabulary and looking at some examples, we're going to conduct an experiment of our own and see how force changes the distance something can travel. The first example we're going to look at has to do with Mr. Box. I'm going to show you how I move Mr. Box from one side of my desk to the other by using the force in my hand to push him. Here we go. Whoa, that was really simple. I must have a lot of energy right now. Another way I can move Mr. Box from one side of my desk to the other is by pulling him. So I'm going to use my energy again and the force in my arms to pull him. And he's back on this side. The second example we're going to look at has to do with this straw and this piece of paper and some air. Before I show you this example, I want to get your insight on a few things. I want you to take your number cards. Number 1 is going to be yes, and number 2 is going to be no. Have you ever seen a leaf outside be moved by the wind? If you have, put up number 1. If you haven't, put up number 2. Ready? Show me. Okay, I have, so I'm going to put up number 1. That's good. Now, we're going to take the number cards again, and I'm going to change my question. Do you think if I blow on this side of the straw towards the paper, that the force from my breath will move the paper? Again, 1 for yes and 2 for no. Ready? Show me. I think it will. Good job, everyone. So now, let's test it out. I'm going to blow into this side of the straw, point this end at the paper, and we're going to see if my breath has enough force and energy to move this paper, to put it into motion. And it did. So that means that not only can our hands, our feet, our body move things, but also the air. Let's review some vocabulary. Force is the strength that is put into a physical action. In other words, how much muscle you put into the activity. Energy refers to how long you can do a physical activity. Whoa, look at her go. She has a lot of energy. Motion, when something is moving or being moved, like if you were dancing. Your body is in motion to the music. Here's an example. He's using force to push the car in a forward motion, and he has to have enough energy to get it from one side to the other. Here's a pulling example. She's pulling the box with enough force to make it move forward, and she has the energy to pull it across the grass. Now that we've seen some examples, let's take some time so you can think of a time that you've either seen something pushed or something pulled in order to get it to move. Great job thinking! Now it's time to turn to your neighbor and share the example you thought of. Remember to be a good listener and to take turns. Now that we've reviewed our vocabulary, we've looked at examples and thought of examples in our own lives, we're going to conduct an experiment. For our experiment, we're going to see How far can air push a toy car? For this experiment, we're going to use a wooden toy car, a balloon, and we're going to measure how far the toy car goes with one breath filled into the balloon, with 2 breaths filled into the balloon, and with 3 breaths filled into the balloon. So let's get to it. Let's begin our experiment. We're going to use this balloon, this wooden car, and this ruler. We're going to fill this balloon the first time with 1 breath of air, the second time with 2 breaths of air, and the third time with 3 breaths of air. We're then going to attach it to the car and let the balloon go. And we're going to see how much force the air that's coming out of the balloon, so the amount of breaths we put in there, and how far the car is going to go with the amount of breaths or force that's coming out of this balloon. Here we go with the first time, breath number 1. Let's measure. Let's move the balloon out of the way. Okay. All right, so for test number 1, we saw that the car traveled 11 inches with 1 breath. So we're gonna go ahead and document that here. Let's try the second one. Here comes try number 2 with 2 breaths. Whoa, it's bigger. Whoa. That's how far we went. Wow. That second time, we went a total of 18 inches, 2 breaths. Now, before we go on to the third and final test, let's take a poll. Based on the pattern of 1 breath, making it go 11 inches, and 2 breaths, making it go 18 inches, do you think that having 3 breaths is going to make it go even further? Let's take our number cards and take a quick vote. If you think that 3 breaths is going to make it go even further than 18 inches, hold up your number 1. If you don't think so, hold up number 2. Ready? Show me. Awesome. Let's find out what happens. Here we go for the third and final time with 3 big breaths. Let's see how far it goes. Here we go. Whoa, let's see how it went over the line. But that's how far it went. Wow, that third time we went a total of 22 inches. First, let's document it. There we go. And now, let's review. So first of all, we did find out that air can push a toy car. And we also found out that the more force behind that air and the more energy, the further the car will go. I hope you enjoyed this experiment. See you next time.